for a few more people to join. KP, you're shining. I know it's after a workout. We've been following your Instagram posts.
Yeah,
Was that a weight training session?
I did 40 Ks this morning. I got a big one tomorrow. I've just been trying to keep as fit as I can. I think in lockdown it gives you structure. It gives you the ability to be able to put down an hour or two a day to nail my fitness and nail my training. I don't think I've ever been this fit. It's amazing.
Wow, really?
Amazing.
Really?
Well, when you're playing international sport, you're either playing, then you're relaxing, and then you're thinking about the game, and then you don't physically train on your body as much as you can when you're not performing, when you're not in the bright lights of the game time.
KB, you were swimming. Have you considered triathlons? You might be good at it. Or is that too boring? No?
You are blurring. Your question's blurred out there a little bit. Can you ask that again for me, please?
So you're cycling, you're running, you're swimming. Have you considered a triathlon or an Ironman? Have you given that a shot? Is that
no. Running's no good for me. My knees, my calves, and my Achilles don't allow me to run anymore. So I might run a little distance if I go for a run with my little boy or something. But other than that, no, running's not my thing. I can swim. Swim's no problem. Cycling, I'm getting very, very good at. I'm getting quite competitive with myself, which is quite fun. However, the running side of a triathlon is not for me.
Not your scene. KB, what's up with your diet? I believe white carbs are out. You're saying you're the fittest. It can't be done without a specific diet. What's going on?
Well, for the first month of lockdown, I was drinking every day. Every day. I know I've got a lot of friends that we're just drinking a bottle of wine. Got quite a nice little cellar in the house, and we were. And then when school started again, it was right. Get ourselves back in shape. Homeschooling, training. So I was just about to go and get on a Saturday. I can have a glass of wine, and I was just about to go and get a bottle. Today's my cheat day, and I was just about to go and get it, and then I remembered, no, I've got to be on Instagram. So, as soon as this is finished, I'm going to go and pop the cork for this evening.
KB, I'm going to ask you about your wildlife endeavors. You are so active. You were in India, you were in Assam, at Kaziranga, working with the Indian rhinos. Yeah. Lots of people listening. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this documentary that you've finished shooting for? And I believe the editing has begun.
Yeah, the editing has begun, and I think that Indian people are going to be more proud of this than any of the batting that I ever did, or any of my cricketing prowess. I think that Tourism India is going to love the fact that we show off India in the most majestic way. I think Indians should be so proud of the conservation project that is happening up in northeast India. Some of the people we met. I mean, you think about it as a cricketer. Do you think I can walk down the street in Mumbai or Bangalore? Or I just can't do it. And that's just the nature of the beast of the job that we do. However, I took my director out on one Sunday afternoon. I said, Mick, we're just going to go for a walk here. Some of the pictures on my Instagram where I'm in those little villages and I'm just taking pictures with tea ladies and some of those two old men that I'm just smiling with and the kids that I'm just talking to. And I mean, it was one of the most beautiful afternoons I've ever had in India. It was absolutely amazing. I wasn't being hassled because it just wasn't a thing up there. It was just nothing that was going on. And I was able to just walk through villages and walk through tea gardens and just speak to people and see people and take the most beautiful photos. And honestly, when this documentary, Save This Rhino India, launches, and I think it's airing in September, COVID's obviously hit our editing suite quite hard, and all the social distancing and everything's had to shut down for quite a few weeks. So we're way behind schedule. However, it has started. And when this hits the screens and you guys are able to watch it on National Geographic in India, I think that all the Indians are going to be so proud of the way that we show off the beauty of India. It is quite magnificent. The cinematography, the people, the animals. the way that the humans and wildlife interact with no fences around Kaziranga National Park. It's going to be spectacular, and I promise you now, Indians are going to be so proud of it.
Did you enjoy getting chased by that rhino?
Hey, I didn't mind it because I was in a car, and you know you can get away with it. I've had some pretty hairy experiences on foot tracking animals, which are not fun, and I don't suggest anybody tries those. But in the car, you know you're fine. I mean, that's no real issue. They're quite grumpy up there, actually, for some strange reason. Really? They're very, very grumpy. Yeah, those rhinos are grumpy. In Africa, they are inquisitive, but in India, for some strange reason, they're quite grumpy. They don't really like those vehicles. I don't know whether it's the sound of the vehicles. I don't know if they're not as habituated to the vehicles as much as they are in Africa. But yeah, quite temperamental.
Took a walk with a baby rhino as well. That must have been surreal.
Well, that wasn't in India. That was in South Africa.
Oh, that was in South Africa.
Yeah, I mean, the wildlife center, the rehabilitation center up in Kaziranga National Park doesn't let you get close to any of the animals because they want to rehabilitate the animal and then send them straight back into Kaziranga National Park and keep them protected and don't have that human contact because they want them to remain nice and wild. Whereas in Africa, it's quite difficult and you can't really send them back into the wild because of how sought after they are through the poaching syndicates. Whereas in Kaziranga National Park, you guys have got the most incredible protection for your animals that Africa certainly needs to catch up and learn.
Kevin, a lot of people are concerned about your lunch hours. You know, it's about 12:30 in the afternoon there. They're wondering if you've eaten lunch. We should tell them you have a drink waiting with lunch.
No, you know what? My wife said, shall I get you something quickly? And I said, it's the first meal of the day. I just need to enjoy it. And Jess was in the kitchen just doing some stuff. Do you want to quickly have something? I said, no. So I'm waiting. So as soon as I'm finished here, I'm gonna go and have some lunch. But yeah, it is. It's 12:35 here, so I'm 35 minutes late from eating. Naughty.
We're not going to keep you long, KP. We want to get started with some really interesting cricket questions that a lot of fans had sent out to us. And, you know, you had one of the most spectacular debuts to debut in a test match at the Ashes and, you know, against Australia. They're not easy on the new blokes. They're rough. Their sledging is iconic almost. What was the vibe? What was the welcome you got from the Australians back in the day? 2005 it was.
Luckily, I was quite close to Shane Warne, and he was probably your biggest candidate for a thing that they called the mental disintegration. Instead of calling it sledgy, they called it mental disintegration.
Mental disintegration, okay.
And I was very close to Warnie, and so I was actually given quite an easy ride from Warnie. And I think the more that my career went on, the less people sledged me because they knew that the more they sledged me, the more that I would actually get myself up and into the battle. So, I mean, I was very lucky. Throughout my career, I never really had any massive ding-dongs or battles with any players in particular because they sort of left me alone. They wanted me to just get on and do what I did. It actually made batting quite easy because I was able to just walk out there and not be confronted by anyone.
You know, a very popular clipping in India is Yuvraj Singh hitting those 6 sixes. We know you were on the field. The camera wasn't on you because there were 3-4 other people involved. Was this also the strategy after Yuvraj Singh hit 6 sixes that stop sledging this man or stop mentally disintegrating this man? It backfires on us?
Listen, all I know is that I was on the boundary and I needed physio for a few days after that, just watching the ball, keep tracking of my head. But I mean, what an amazing shot maker, what an amazing timer of the ball, what a special human to recover from cancer the way that he did. Just what a special guy. So there are so many beautiful people out there who've achieved so many wonderful things in their career, and certainly that was 10 minutes of his career that would be talked about for a very long time.
2019, you guys finally won the World Cup. England won the World Cup. It ended in that was a Bollywood film ending, KP. Yeah. Those kind of things are not even in our Bollywood films. Tell me, was this like a monkey off your back, or would you have rather had it end a little differently, or what was the takeaway from that?
Definitely a monkey off England's back for sure. I mean, we won the T20 World Cup in the Caribbean in 2010. I think actually today is the or tomorrow is the 10th year anniversary, I think. If from what I've seen on social media, is right, but maybe not. I know it was in and around this time, but 10 years ago we won the T20 World Cup, and then the ECB made a conscious decision to target 50 over cricket. Yeah. We were always playing World Cups on the back of an Ashes series down under. And at the end of an Ashes series, mentally you are so fatigued, physically you are completely drained. And so they changed the schedule around so that England could target a World Cup being fresh in England, and they gave themselves the best chance to do the business. And they got over the line. They played some wonderful cricket. They had a bit of a wobble in the middle, but yes, they certainly brought cricket back onto the front pages, which is everything that cricket needs in this country. It's a bit of a mishap that COVID's happened and they can't continue the progress and positivity into that new game, the 100, that they were going to launch this year. But there's a lot of things that are more important than sport right now.
You know, having said that, the IPL's been called off. You're an integral part of the IPL. You've played for multiple teams, but you've been quite vocal about the fact that you wished the IPL was still played and broadcasted without the fans. Is that still your opinion on this, looking at the whole scenario right now with COVID worldwide?
When it's safe, yes. Yeah, and the fans around the world. I mean, it's such a huge broadcast. It brings so much money and revenue into the economic structure, and everybody's economics have taken a massive hit. It's been a global economical downturn, and so to be able to put cricket back on the screens, it would need to be worked out. But if they can play the Premier League in England, then surely they could find a way of playing the IPL at some stage later in the year.
KB, your favorite IPL team? This could be a tough one. You have people tuned in
Easy,
from
Delhi Daredevils. Delhi.
Really?
Easy.
Is that because it was one of your early teams? Is that why?
Not really. I mean, I captained Bangalore. Played for Pune as well. But Delhi was, when we were captained by Virendra Sehwag, and we had the most brilliant season where he just captained the way that he batted. Complete free spirit. I'll tell you a little story. We were playing a game against Sangakkara. Sangakkara was playing for who was it? Who was Sangakkara playing for? I don't know who it was.
Mumbai?
No, I don't think it was Mumbai. It may have been Mumbai. I don't know who it was. And I was just going to the bathroom just before I walked out, and we were opening the bowling. We were bowling. And Sehwag said to me that, I mean, Sangakkara was in good form, and he was batting with another young Indian who was smacking it everywhere.
Was it Hyderabad, KP?
Possibly, yes. I think it might have been, yes. And so we were stood there in the bathroom, and I mean, I was batting like as well as I'd ever batted. And that season in particular, I just scored. I think at that game I actually scored 100. But he was a bit. He was umming and ahhing, who do I bowl? And he came up to me and he said, I want you to bowl the first over. I was like, dude, I haven't bowled for ages. I said, how can I bowl the first over? He said, how much is it going to hurt your confidence if you go for 20 compared to if one of our bowlers goes for 20? I said, all right, give me the ball then. It doesn't bother me.
Virendra Sehwag is an extremely interesting character. People talk about him singing on field and, cracking these.
When he's batting, another story. We were batting in Centurion Park and we were facing Sunil Narayan in a game when the IPL went to South Africa, and Sunil Narayan was when he was in his prime, and he was bowling doosra after doosra and spinning the ball in, spinning the ball away, spinning the ball in. And I walked out there. I mean, I was at the height of my career and I was playing beautifully. And I walked out to bat, and I said to Sehwag, I said, "What's happening here?" He says, "Just leave it to me." I said, "What do you mean, just leave it to you?" He said, "Don't worry." He said, "I'll just hit him." So I said, "You're going to just hit him?" I said, "I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get off the mark, and you're just saying, no, just leave him." So I said, no problem. So I went down and played a sweep shot. Just tickled him around the corner to sweep shot to get off the mark. Luckily, there was no 45. I got off the mark. Sabag then proceeded by just going bang, bang. Walked down the wicket to me and said, told you. And I was like, oh my God. This guy's so special.
Yes. KP, outside of England, where have you enjoyed playing cricket? You've played all over, but outside of England, your favorite ground, maybe you can name a ground for us.
My favorite place to play cricket was the Caribbean because of how beautiful it was, how I was able to train as hard as I always train, but then switching off. You just go down to the beach, jump on a jet ski, lie in the sea, swim in the sea, go and drink rum on your days off, go and hide. The people of the Caribbean leave you alone. They'll go, yo man, KP.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a fist pump. They'll give you a fist pump, or they'll say, yo KP, wagwan. And then they'll just leave you. So you can just walk the beaches and you can have fun and you can enjoy yourself. So the actual pressure cooker that you live in when you're practicing and when you're playing is there. And it's fierce competition. However, when you get off the field, it is completely relaxed.
India is very different, KP. Indian fans are extremely unique. We look at cricket differently. Yeah. We look at our players. You probably have had these awkward moments with Indian fans, across age groups.
I have, but it's, again, that's the nature of what we do, and it's the nature of how we are positioned in India. And I mean, that's why I took that opportunity to walk the streets in Kaziranga National Park, in and around the park, where the people were just completely at peace with their surroundings and lived off the land. And I was able to just walk around there and speak to people and have a wonderful afternoon with.
Did you speak to them in their local language or Hindi or English?
I had an interpreter with me, so the whole time I was doing that, I was always with an interpreter. I think you'll see that in the documentary, that there's a lot of people that don't speak English that I was able to converse with because I had an interpreter with me. So yeah, it made for interesting. I was really worried about doing the documentary because I'd filmed a load of stuff before. I'd done the Save This Rhino in South Africa for National Geographic, but when I got told that a lot of the people that I'll be interviewing are not English, I was a little bit like, oh my goodness, I'm going to really have to learn this script. I'm going to have this script so perfectly down that I'm able to project what we need to project and get all the messaging and get all the answers. But it was fantastic. It was summer. I mean, goodness, what a beautiful part of India.
I know you've got a little indication from the family saying, time for lunch. I'm going to make this really quick, KP. I'm going to give you a bunch of options. Want you to pick these. Indian fans want to know which players you prefer, what other things you prefer. So we'll start with a very basic 2-option, tea or coffee, KP. What's your drink? What's your hot drink?
Only coffee. Coffee. Done.
Black coffee?
No, I have a little bit of milk, but very strong.
Coffee. Cardio or weight training, KP?
Cardio.
Who is your all-time favorite cricketer?
Don't really have one. Don't have one.
KP, no?
I don't really have an all-time favorite sportsman, cricketer.
Wow.
I don't really have one. I mean, I looked up to Hansie Cronje and Alan Donald as youngsters in South Africa, but I mean, I don't have like an all-time. Those are the two that I really looked up to when I was young.
Most enjoyable fellow commentator?
You know what? I have such a great relationship with all the channels that I work with. It would be difficult to say one in particular. I mean, Channel 9 in Australia had a great time. Fox in Australia, Star Sports in India, Sky here, BT here. I think I'm probably Super Sport in South Africa. Listen, I'm freelance, so I just jump between all of them, and I have the most awesome time. You quickly realize that as a sportsman, when you were playing the game and you listen to how much is being said upstairs, that there's never really a vendetta, and there's never really anything behind a scenario. People are just projecting what they see, and they're talking about what they see, which is quite interesting.
Shane Warne or Muralidharan, KP?
To do what?
To bat against.
On the field, Muralitharan. Off the field, Warren.
Warren. Sachin or Lara?
Oh, goodness. Right-hander, left-hander. Can't be compared. Just special. I'm going to say Lara today only because it's his birthday. Happy birthday,
yes,
Brian Lara.
Lara. All right. What about a pick between Smith, Williamson and Virat? This is a very popular question.
Kohli, number one.
Kohli, number one.
Kohli one.
Most underrated player, KP?
Goodness, underrated? Geez, you're asking me to think of a cricketer here that is underrated. That Williamson slips under the radar, doesn't he? Captains New Zealand. Yes. They're out there. They're down under. They're 13 hours ahead of us. They're 6-7 hours ahead of you guys. They just sort of slip under the radar, and he always seems to do a really good job. So I'd say Williamson's probably the dude that just slips under the radar a little bit.
Would you think there's a player that's overrated? Gets a little more due than he deserves, maybe.
Overrated?
Overrated. That's a tough one, KB.
It is a tough one, and I could say somebody here, but I know that it'll be a headline tomorrow, so I'm not going to.
And you made too many, KP. We could give you one less headline. Mahendra Singh Dhoni in one word. One word, one sentence.
Innovator.
Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronnie.
Phelps or Bolt?
I'm going to go Phelps. Phelps loves golf. I've played golf with Phelps. Golf always wins.
Federer or Nadal?
Federer.
Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram.
And finally, before we wrap this, KP, lots of fans tuned in all over India, across the world. Also, the Olympics, a massive sporting event that's been called off. It's been rescheduled for 2021. What's your favorite Olympic event to watch? Is there one that you make sure you find out what time it's on and you tune in and you watch it?
Swimming. I love swimming.
Over track and field?
I love watching the swimming, yeah. Well, the first half is swimming and then track and field takes over. So swimming's my thing. But now that golf has made its way into the Olympic Games and my good friend Justin Rose won the gold last time, golf is also something that is closely admired and watched by me.
Would you be happy to see cricket at the Olympics someday, KB? Or would you...
You know what? You could potentially get T20s into the Olympics. That's in some... way, shape or form. Will it happen? I don't know. I know they had cricket at the Commonwealth Games. I think in the Commonwealth Games they had cricket quite a few years ago. Could they have it in the Olympics? They could do. But we're going to have to wait and see. Do we know when the Olympics is going to be next year? Are there any dates?
2021. They've rescheduled.
I know, but are there any dates?
No exact dates as yet. Not yet. JP? Do you want to take a couple of questions, or would you like to give your fans a message? People have been saying all kinds of stuff. Retired too soon, KP. That's another very popular message that's coming. Should have seen a little more of you. What would you want to tell your fans, KP?
You know what, guys? In all honesty, it's just about staying positive right now and creating that mindset that gets you up in the day, wanting to become a better person. If you can help somebody become that better person, if you can consistently try and become that better person by being as positive as you can and trying and testing times, then when everybody comes out of this, we're all going to be a lot happier. We have an opportunity here to make other people happy, to make our families happy, and to do what we can to be able to make the world a better place. I think right now we're seeing nature striking back. Nature certainly given us the old, you've messed around with me for far too long. You've stolen from me. You're killing me. You're knocking me over. You're poaching from me. This is an opportunity for me to say, right, go and sort yourselves out. Once you've sorted yourselves out, we'll live together. So from my side, I'm just taking this as a positive break, being with my family, loving the fact that I'm just stuck up here in my house, but the opportunity.
What about homeschooling, KP? Are you enjoying homeschooling with all the questions?
Shit. Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
We look forward to having you back in India. Look forward to your documentary, KP. All the best and keep us posted. We're following you on Instagram, following all your Insta lives. Do get Dhoni on an Insta live. It's a huge request from the fans here. It's going to be a tough one.
Get him and I'll get him for you. Get him and I'll do it.
Getting him is the challenge. We were hoping we can have you get him.
I'll speak to some people.
We look forward to this, KP, and all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.